Hey, everybody. It looks like the MLS owners did not vote for the FIFA European calendar, or they didn't put it to a vote today at their meetings down at the All-Star game in Austin. And perhaps we'll get a little bit more enlightened from Don Garber at 7:30 Eastern. He's going to speak to the media. We're never always sure what he'll say, but again, maybe we'll get more insight on that. Maybe we'll get more insight as to why Lionel Messi's not at the All-Star game. And then what everybody's wondering, will he be suspended? Per the rules, you don't go without an excuse, you're suspended for the next game. And then New York City FC, they're completing a 4-game road trip at FC Dallas. All coming up on NYCFC Views Live.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. NYCFC Views.
Collins approaches the shot, and New York City wins the first MLS Cup on their first try, and they're going crazy. Tiene tiro y gol! Gol! New York City es el campeón de Major League Soccer!
The sickest New York City FC podcast. It's gonna be sick.
All right, there he is, the guy that made that exciting call in the MLS Cup Final 2021. Seems eons ago. Roberto Abramowitz. I'm Glenn Crooks, and this is NYCFC Views Live. We're on at least once a week during the season. We do it live. We used to record it. Now we're live all the time. Gives you a chance to chime in and give us your opinions on some of these things. I want to get to the MLS All-Star thing a little bit later on, but I think it is top of mind, especially since the owners were meeting today, and there was every indication. I mean, everyone was just anticipating that there was going to be a vote on this, switching to the European calendar, probably doing it in 2027, which is probably, when you think about news in MLS over the years, at least since I've been around doing this, that would be the biggest thing this side of David Beckham, the first DP.
Yeah, it would be absolutely huge if they actually did that. I guess I'm a little bit on the fence on it, where before I used to be 100% against it, but I'm still mostly against it. I think that MLS doesn't necessarily need to go and change their calendar to be European per se. Now, I understand the reasons why people advocate for it. And I'm talking about in the league now, not just fans, but I'm talking about within the league. And it has to do a lot with the transfer windows and players getting acclimated and getting ready to go for a season and having a preseason in the summer to be able to start play in the fall or early summer. So I understand that part of it. And also the transfers and how much money they can get with them, with transfers. So
right.
Sometimes we forget things.
Sometimes we also forget the coaches that come in midstream. There's a sacking, and somebody that's a free agent out there comes in, and they don't have a preseason, and sometimes we forget about the old coaches who are also caught in there. But it impacts players more than anything else when they come in at these odd times, and it hurts MLS to a certain extent. And no, there's little question. I can't, it'll be so interesting to see what happens in February around this league, and in December. I forget what the calendar exactly is, but games will restart in February after this. I believe they proposed a 5-week hiatus between the end of the quote unquote summer fall season and then going into the winter.
Five weeks wouldn't be enough. 5 weeks would mean that you're either playing all through December, or if you bail out mid-December, which is the beginning of winter, then you've got to start first week of February, which is in the middle of winter. Let's remember that, spring doesn't start until March 20th. And so you would have to have all those games. So we understand. I mean, we see these games that wind up getting played either in the NFL or sometimes within soccer in some of the northern cities or the cold cities. And it's obscene. It's not the same thing as playing in London in the middle of December. It's a different ball game. I mean, we're talking about, if you remember the Honduras-U.S. game in Minnesota, the goalie for Honduras had to be hospitalized after halftime because...
Yeah, you've said that, but I know you've said that before. I don't
Why do
think,
you dismiss that? Why do you
because
dismiss that?
because it's a practically a one-off. It's not going to be that way every time they play. I mean, what are you going to do?
But there's going to be more than enough games that are going to be that way. And why are you like so about the comfort of the fans? Why do the fans have to suffer through sitting through 20-degree temperatures or 15-degree temperatures?
You can dress for that.
Why do you not care about that?
You can dress for that. There are people that climb Mount Everest.
But they don't go
They're
to the
fine.
games, Glenn.
You can
They
dress.
don't show up.
Well, then they don't show up. Then they're not supporters. You can dress.
That's bullshit. No, that's not true.
Oh,
That's
Roberto,
arrogance
come
on
on.
your end. You can't say that they're not supporters because they're not bringing their 8-year-old in 15-degree temperature to go watch a game. Come on, have some empathy for anybody else other than yourself.
Oh, you're taking it in a really ridiculous direction. I'm
Care
telling you,
about the fans.
I'm telling you, people can dress for a majority of the conditions for outdoor soccer in the month of February and in the month of December. That is what I'm telling you. Now, are there going to be exceptions where maybe they have to postpone the game, and maybe that Honduras game would be an example? Yes. But I'm telling you that should not be the ultimate reason why it doesn't happen. What are you going to do next summer when it's a 120 heat index in frickin' wherever they're playing where they don't have a roof? It's the opposite. So what do you do there?
What they did in Portland on one game where I think the temperature was going to hit 100 degrees during the day, they wound up postponing the game 3 hours so they could play it at night. That's easy.
Don't tell me I'm not empathetic. Please don't ever say that again.
You're not acting empathetic. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but I'm just being honest with you, Glenn.
Yeah.
You're not being empathetic towards the fans.
Yeah. Okay. All righty.
You can dispute it if you like. Go right ahead.
I already did my disputing, so let's not. I'm starting off on such a happy note.
We can argue.
Let's have more happiness here.
All
So,
right, if I wait,
look,
my lamp is falling apart here. This is not good. I was trying.
The one thing I want to say about Lionel Messi first is that I think he has been an exception of the superstar coming to the U.S. and not coming in for a vacation. The stats will back that up. He still loves to play the game. I think he gives everything that he can to the game, and I think that. I don't want to say I'm surprised, but I'm really quite happy with how Lionel Messi has comported himself in Major League Soccer. Now, this All-Star thing is a little disturbing, but I don't side with Messi for the fact that he hasn't showed up, and I can't wait to see if he gets suspended for the game against Cincinnati on the weekend, which he should be. He and Jordi Alba, and both of them no-shows. But I don't like the MLS All-Star game. I don't think it shouldn't be played. I mean. So here's the thing. I calculated this, Roberto. You want to know who the happiest coaches in MLS are this week? I'm going to read them to you. Atlanta United, Charlotte, Colorado, DC United, FC Dallas, Houston, Galaxy, Montreal, New York City FC, New York Red Bulls, St. Louis City SC, and Toronto FC, because none of those teams have players that are participating in the All-Star game festivities. Yeah. So I'm telling you, they're happy to have their troops there. Matt Freese, if he lost out on a bonus, we talked about that last week. I feel bad for him. If many people think he was a deserving, he certainly was a candidate.
Oh, should have been deserving.
But beyond that, I'd rather have Matt Freese. Look, I'm fighting, and we're going to talk about this. It's New York City getting a playoff spot, Roberto. I'm telling you. I know it's not a slam dunk, but man, there are some tough things coming up. Some very, very tough things coming up.
100%. After Leagues Cup, I mean, the schedule gets brutal for New York City. But the thing that I will mention is that during this road trip, they've already pulled 4 points, and you could have made an argument before the road trip that they may not get 4 points on the road trip. That they probably, you could have gotten 2 points on the road trip, and thinking, well, maybe it wasn't as horrible as it could have been. But they already have 4, so maybe they're playing a little bit with Vegas money here. As far as the All-Star game, I want to go back to the Messi thing, because I understand Messi and Alba not wanting to play. I can get it. And it isn't to do anything with the fact that it's an all-star game and they don't care. Okay. What they are caring about, and I get this. I mean, Messi's no spring chicken. Alba's no spring chicken either. And can't believe I'm actually arguing this side, but I will. Okay. They've just played a load of games, Glenn. It is just how much more games can they play? I mean, seriously, up to now this season in 2025, they've already played, when they play their first Leagues Cup match on July 30th, that's going to bring them 23 games. So they played 16 in MLS, they've played 4 in CONCACAF Champions Cup, and they've played 3 in the FIFA World, and actually 4 in the FIFA World Cup. So they've already played 23 games. I mean, that's a lot of games. Okay, and it's not like Messi comes in, plays 20 minutes, and sits down. The guy is a freaking machine.
Oh, well,
he'll play 90 all the time.
You said they played 16 MLS games. I have 21.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think I might. Hold on, let me just tell you. Yes,
I'm looking at the standings. I just wanted to. I wasn't sure if you were referring to a certain time period or what, but they played 21 MLS games.
Okay, so it'd be 21 plus 4, that's 25. So let's play 29 games. It makes my argument even stronger.
And Messi has a brace in 6 of the last 7 games he's played, which is really.
But his minutes are astronomical. I mean, the only time he doesn't play is when he's hurt, and then he'll sit out, and then he'll come in and play for 90. And I mean, he and Maxi Morales are unbelievable for their age to be able to be playing the amount of minutes that they're playing. So, it's a goose that that gives the league the golden eggs, and I understand if
it's got to be suspended. He and Alba can't play this weekend. That's unless there's some. The only thing that clears this, I think, is a medical issue, and that's been clear that that's not the case. So
right, it's not unless they get a commissioner's exception, which they could. And I can basically, as I said, I'm sort of arguing for it. Because I know what the spirit of the rule is, and the spirit is they don't want anybody missing. They don't want anybody missing MLS Cup because it's very, very important for a majority, for a variety of reasons. Not just the game itself, but all the activities, all the sponsors that they meet, all the potential sponsors that they can meet. They don't want players. They don't want people missing these events. I get it. It's important for the league and for the business of the league. But you don't want to kill the goose that lays the golden eggs either.
We have one in comments that came in a little late. So the MLS owners, just to repeat, did not vote on whether to change the calendar or not. I don't know when they're going to, even though there was an anticipation that was going to be.
I sent something in. I sent one of the things that I sent in is on that, and I think it says it. So if Shane wants to share it.
There were a couple of reporters that had it, and I probably sent it to you too, Shane. Something about I can't remember. We sent Shane a lot of stuff today, so I don't. Shane's our producer.
There we go. That's the one. Yeah.
That's the one. Yep. Then we both sent him the same thing. So this was now this is about 2 hours ago because I remember when it came in. And
the last one is within the last hour, Glenn. This is the one that I sent, and this is within the last hour.
Okay, well, I said the same thing, so it seemed like 2 hours ago. It doesn't matter who sent what. It's but the information's the important thing. And get more contacts at the commissioner's pregame press conference at 7:30 Eastern. So I think we'll hear about that. Garber's little chats, and by the way, it's not public, so for media only. There's a link we have, which we're not going to share. Sorry, but there's usually something comes out of these little mid-season or State of the Union, what are the MLS State of the Union that he does in preseason. But I think everybody's anxious about this calendar thing, and I think I'm sure he'll address Messi and Alba in some fashion. I don't know if the media there is. I can't remember if it's a question and answer either. But if it is, I'm sure that's going to come up.
Yeah, I think there is a question and answer session after he gives his State of the Union.
Okay, great. All right, well, that's the old MLS All-Star stuff. So let's get to New York City FC, and Yeah, so we've talked about this road swing, and you're right. 4 points through the three matches with FC Dallas next. And FC Dallas, they haven't been, they lost three in a row, two of them at home, and then they tied the Earthquakes and then beat St. Louis City, which is, neither one of those
They're
results
terrible this year.
is anything to really get excited about. And they've got a guy, Peter Musa, who's their DP. He's got 11 goals. He's a legit goal scorer. But after that, man, they have very little in terms of the attack. So, it's always going to be a tough road trip when you're going back. They came home from Kansas City and then went back out today. So this is it's a huge game. And what happened at Kansas City was pretty interesting. How there were a number of storylines here, Roberto. But let's get to your goal call first, as Andrés Perea opened up the scoring in the 22nd minute, when New York City was playing very, very well against Sporting KC.
Jugadas hasta el momento, uno de los mejores primeros 20 minutos que le hemos visto esta temporada al equipo celeste, hoy vestido de negro.
Sin dudas. Mientras tanto en Atlanta está cayendo 1-2 ante Charlotte. Diplomati logró el empate parcial 1-1 y Wilfred Zaha acaba de anotar el 2-1 para la Corona.
Balón filtrado para Perea, tira de afuera. ¡Gol! De Andrés Perea. Y New York City tiene la ventaja. 1-0, su primero de la temporada. Y New York City está arriba al minuto 22.
Mira, si Perea va a comenzar a hacer este tipo de acciones ofensivas a partir de ahora, como alguna vez las hizo, que fueron muy útiles, bienvenido. Alonso Martínez necesita descargar en nombres como Perea, con velocidad, con puntería, con fuerza en el área, y que pueden un poco duplicar lo que Martínez puede hacer habitualmente en el área, en la casa del rival. Es una doble amenaza. Si New York City consigue afianzar a Perea como ese doble atacante, segundo atacante por detrás de Martínez, no digo que encuentra la fórmula del éxito, pero sí encuentra un camino alternativo que hasta ahora no había tenido demasiado este año.
El primer gol en la primera mitad de New York City de visitante desde el 29 de marzo en Atlanta.
Wow, I got the wrong. I got to apologize. That went way longer than I thought. I
Right, just translate a little bit of what Ariel said at the end, because he was like providing some context, I think.
Yeah, so what Ariel was basically saying, that it was an important goal for Perea, especially because of the fact that Martinez needs help, right? Especially with Hannes Wolf being out. It just can't be either Martinez or Wolf all the time. New York City needs other players to step up and score. So Perea did at that moment, and it was a big goal, which for me, and I mentioned that, and part of my commentary on that in the first part, was the fact that New York City had a brilliant first 20 minutes of the game. And that goal was a just reward for their efforts.
Well, let's. I think I say something similar to that on our commentary. So it's a big commentary night here. First Spanish, now English. Here we go.
Maxi Morales now to Andrés Perea. He's got a chance. Here's his shot. It's a goal in New York City. Open the scoring. Maxi Morales to Andrés Perea. Slotted it on the left side. And New York City, it's the 22nd minute, and they've had majority of the play. It's a well-deserved lead. There was some pressure by Sporting KC in the last several minutes, but off the counter, and New York City, they've looked dangerous in those moments and finally produced with Andrés Perea.
Yeah, it's a little bit too easy. Maxi Morales picks the ball up just over the halfway line, and one run from Perea unlocks the whole of the defence. So all Maxi Morales has to do is play the ball in front of him. He takes a touch with the outside of his right foot and then finishes with the inside of the same foot. Pulskamp has pulled off save after save here, but he couldn't get anywhere near this when he's grasping at thin air. Quality from Perea, quality from Morales, but nothing more than this NYCFC team deserved.
Well, I hope Andrés Perea scores more goals so we can see that celebration. I think that's that would be fun to see. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask him about that one. I don't know where that one came from. He hasn't scored many goals, so I don't think he's done that before. The little dance and I don't know, some sort
That
of
was good.
gesture.
I mean, he's got moves. Okay, I don't know if he's got better moves on the dance floor or the soccer field, but he can definitely move.
Now I'm going to be talking to. Normally, we will have spoken with the gaffer Pascal Janssen by now and presented to you, but we're not going to be able to do that till tomorrow now. And one thing I want to ask him is, and I probably should read what questions I have for Pascal to everyone, but one of them is going to be, does he think that the hydration break was the most valuable player in this game? Because I'm telling you, I think, so Shallowy equalizes, and I don't know how you two saw it, but there was a 10, 15-minute period in there where it just looked like the road trips, the heat. I mean, that's a true sauna in Kansas City. The whole thing, it just looked like a lot of exhausted players on the field, and they needed a fresh starter. They needed some insertion, and they got it. But it all happened during the hydration break, Roberto.
I know, but the thing is that if you want to criticize something, is that if you really think that the team was as exhausted as they were, and I agree with you, it's like, why weren't there any more lineup changes before that? He had only made one change, which is taking out do I have this right? Ojeda, bringing in Ojeda for sure. Is that right?
Oh, hold on.
I'm looking at FOTMob here. He made one. That was in the 64th minute.
No, there was no halftime substitution.
Right.
And
in the 64th.
Yeah. Short for Ojeda.
That's the only one. And then right after the goal, he makes three changes, right? Which is Cavallo, Musu, and Reed coming in for O'Toole, Fernandez, and Martinez. And Cavallo, as well as, and Musu especially, Reed too. I mean, they gave them a burst of energy that the team needed. And one could have, and you could say, well, why wasn't this done earlier? As New York City was just really, really suffering. They had their backs against the wall.
They were wilting, crumbling. I'm trying to think of the words we were kind of using in those moments where it was
melting.
Coming. I know we said it at exactly the point, and we being myself and Matty Lawrence, it's Roberto Abramowitz and Ariel Hudas who on the Spanish side, but it was coming. The equalizer was coming. I mean, it was going to happen. I mean, that's the way I said it 5 minutes before it happened, and then not a soothsayer. You could just feel it, man. It was like there was energy at in the crowd. That's the first time Children's Mercy Park was loud, really loud. Was in that period of time where they were really starting to come forward. So. But then the substitutions. So, I mean, in particular, Sebastiano Musu. So this, we didn't know much about him. Now, last week, I don't know if I did it here. I did it on our pregame live, but I played his bicycle kick in an NYCFC 2 match. And he scores 3 goals for NYCFC 2. He and Seymour Reed have combined to score goals for NYCFC 2. So they both come in together, which is it's an interesting move, but it's a necessary move because they got some young legs in them, and Cavallo did well for O'Toole as well. So, but Musu, so he had he took 2 shots, missed on the back post, missed on the near post after he was trying to get the keeper to lean to the back post because it was an identical shot, and then I don't know if we talked about this, Roberto. That's a foul if it's in the run of play, in the field of play, outside of the penalty area, but apparently it's not when it's inside the penalty box.
I don't understand that. I thought it was a foul as well. I was shocked that VAR, if they did look at it, was that quick to say, go on. Because you figured they looked at it a little bit, although I did not get from VAR a warning that was being looked at. And, you and I subscribe to the Slack channel, the VAR Slack channel. And, we normally get these announcements saying, we're taking a look at this. But I didn't get any that I can remember. And I was waiting to see if they were going to hold up play after, the ball stopped. and they didn't. And I was like really, really surprised because I thought that at least it merited a close look to see if that was a penalty or not.
Yeah, well, that's Ndembe, who is the one that we felt fouled him and from behind, but a great run, and he received it from Seymour Reed. What a great ball! And now it leaves up. So look, every time he got on the ball, Musu, let's face it, you kind of rose from your seat a little bit. That's the kind of player. Now, look, and this is also on my list of questions, and this might come across harsh, but how many times when the ball's been played wide to Agustin Ojeda in a similar spot, and it's happened many, many, many times, do you have the same sense that, wow, something's going to happen here? You really don't.
No. I mentioned this on the air, Glenn, and I said, honestly, I don't remember. I think that Musu was more dangerous in the 24 minutes he played than Ojeda's been all year. I mean, Ojeda's had a couple of shots here and there, but I mean, you got this exact same thing that I did, was this sensation of, oh my God, something might happen here. You know, that was an absolute eye-opening game for somebody making his debut. And here's the honest truth. I want to see more. I absolutely want to see more.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you're alone, and I'm with you on that. So just, his background is, we really had to start digging to find out who exactly this kid is. Well, he played in a Christian community college and was the Golden Boot winner in a national championship game before he transferred to Manhattan College. He was born and raised in Italy. I'm wearing a Napoli shirt in his honor. I don't know if he's a Napoli supporter. I have no idea who he supports, but this is the only Italian thing I have. So I have because I'm with you. So we have no idea if he'll be in the squad tomorrow night or Friday night rather. It remains to be seen.
I'm hoping he is because I want to see more.
The thing is, though, when we think about him, so look at the profile of Julian Fernandez, although Pascal Janssen is putting him more central and giving him more like attacking midfield responsibilities, which I think will play into maybe Musu getting a little bit more time. We don't know where Hannes Wolf is in terms of his injury. That'll be announced soon. But man, I mean, when he's a similar profile to Ojeda, to Wolf, to Fernandez. So who's the striker? If Monsef Bakrar, we're not sure about Monsef Bakrar either. He was out of the squad for the Kansas City game. So, but Pascal told us on more than one occasion, we brought more players than we needed because we were on the road for 2 games. I get that because Ilinic wasn't on the bench in the Orlando game, but then he was, but he didn't play for the Kansas City game. And then there's these rumors about Bakrar.
Yeah, Glenn, I can't think that Bakrar, if he hasn't been sold, that it hasn't been officially announced or anything like that, that he's got to be on the way. There's no way that he's staying out of the lineup unless he has an injury, and they did not have him on the injury list. So one has to think that the Bakrar era is over in New York City. I would think that. I don't have any confirmation from the team. Team hasn't said a bloody word one way or another. We haven't asked them either. So I'm not like trying to speculate in a way that we know something. We don't. This is just my personal feeling at this point, because we really know nothing, is that I don't understand the reason of him not playing if he's not hurt. And it wasn't like a coach's decision per se.
So what I want to say is I'll talk to Pascal tomorrow, and I will play by the afternoon at some point, because I'm going to ask him about Ilinic and Bakrar. I'm going to ask him in my own little cute way about Raul Gustavo. I'm going to say something to him like this, Roberto. See, here's my question. Coach, you're slim in central defense, it would appear. You would agree that if you had a left-footed central defender who you had a previous experience with, and potentially that could be very helpful, wouldn't you? I have a good enough relationship.
Especially if he's Brazilian and he plays in a Turkish league.
Well, I'm not gonna go that
league. Sorry.
I'm gonna stop where I stop, and then he'll chuckle, and then he won't really answer. But I think we'll have some fun with it.
That's the end of, one day I just want him to say, that's the end of the interview and just walk away and say what happened. That'd be amusing.
And the other thing I'm going to ask him, Roberto, I don't know if you remember this. I can't remember if you were in the room for this one. When at the beginning of this 4-game road trip in all these really hot climates, humid, I asked about preparation. Are there things you can do? And he talked about how they actually use the sauna to help them prepare. But I'm going to follow up with that question because I'm really curious to know if they do things in the sauna, like do they jog? Do they hit a ball against the wall? Do they do mental games? Because that's what happens when you get overheated. You start losing your brain and start making poor decisions. I'm just curious, and you lose technique. That's why if I had him in the sauna, I'd be doing technical activities and I'd be doing multiply 9 times 7. Although I suppose you should be able to do that whether you have a lot of heat or not. I'm not good at math.
63. See, I do all math in my head in Spanish.
Oh wow!
I do. Right. If I'm thinking, if I'm talking to you now, I'll do the multiplication in Spanish, and then I'll come up with the answer that way because I learned all my multiplication tables in Spanish.
That makes sense then. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can't change after a while.
So are we done with this game yet? Because I want to go back to what we talked about, the 10 games after Leagues Cup, because there is a quote-unquote Leagues Cup break in as much as New York City's going to play 3 consecutive games in Leagues Cup. Then if they get to the knockout stage, then those games will be played within the context of the regular year. But so after Dallas, okay, then it's I had it right here. Then it's Puebla, León, and Toluca, which are the group games against the Liga MX sides.
Can I just give you one quick comment there?
Yeah.
Okay. Puebla right now is hot garbage. They're terrible.
Okay.
They have no talented players, and they're playing a lot of young kids. I've seen them play twice already. And look, they give a big effort and all that, but they're just really, really a bad team, and they were a horrible team last year. León has James Rodriguez, and they're a pretty decent team. Toluca is just freaking on fire. They're just so good. They're the Mexican champions. I don't think they've lost a step. And this is a really, really good team. That game is going to be the one at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, good.
So the first two. So I think you're going to get a nice crowd for León, because you would think that a lot of the Colombian fans are going to come out to see James. And not that there's a lot of León fans in New York City, but there'll definitely be James Rodriguez fans.
Another player who decided not to go to the All-Star game. I don't know what happens to him in Liga MX, but he's not there either.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go back to what you were saying.
No, that's okay.
No,
that's good. Good context, and I'm looking forward to that Toluca game in particular on August the 5th at Yankee Stadium. So after that, all right, here are the first 3 games after that, and the Columbus game is 4 days after the Toluca match. All right, it's going to be at Citi Field. New York City against Columbus. Then New York City will host Nashville. So Columbus is 4th in the table. Then they host Nashville at Yankee Stadium. Nashville,
and maybe there's a game in between for New York City. There might be a game in between there for New York City if they advance.
Is that no? It'll be in between the next 2 games, I think.
You think it's going to be? I think it's going to be probably between Columbus and
Nashville.
Columbus
I was looking. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so that would be add to the fury here. So New York City, Columbus, New York City, Nashville. Then you go to Cincinnati, the Supporter Shield leaders at TQL Stadium. Okay, then you host DC United, which in terms of must wins. If you don't get 3 points out of that game, there's a chance you're not going to the playoffs because you didn't beat them on your home turf at Yankee Stadium. Then it's at Chicago, a team you're absolutely battling for the final 7, 8, 9 position for the playoffs. Then you host Charlotte, who beat New York City already. Charlotte's a notch above New York City in the standings. Then you host Miami on a Wednesday night at Citi Field. Miami is Miami. We figure Messi will probably play in that game. And then you play the New York Red Bulls in a derby game. So a derby game's a derby game, right? And interestingly enough, the Red Bulls do not have a midweek game. So this is part of what I wanted to look up. I knew New York City's playing Miami. Well, Then they got to play the Red Bulls, 3 days later, and the Red Bulls will be, eating popcorn and watching the New York City-Miami game on Apple TV. Then you finish
and that is at Sports Illustrated Stadium, too.
And that's it. It's a Red Bull home game. And it's New York City at Philadelphia in the penultimate match of the season, Subaru Park. And then they host on decision day Seattle, one of the best teams in the West.
And we have no idea where that game is going to be because that's a TBD.
Well, it's
it could be Yankee Stadium. It could be Citi Field. It most likely will be Sports Illustrated Stadium.
Why is TBC on there? What is C? I've always seen TBD.
I don't know. I have no. Does it say C? I can't
to
tell.
Be determined. To be considered. To be
maybe
called.
Mine is. I can barely see it. It says TB something, but it's TBD.
No, but I mean, no. But my point is, we've always said TBD since I was born. It's been TBD. So why did it change? Why do we have to change? But there's gonna be some changes in IFAB. Possibly, we're gonna get to that in a moment. So that's the last 10 games of the season, folks. Woohoo! Listen, we hope that the Nico Fernandez, who we do not have any concrete information, he is available per transfer rules for Friday night, but is he available because he's obtained the proper paperwork? It's unclear as to where that stands.
And if he's fit. We have no idea if he's fit. So
listen, considering he's fit. I mean, he's training. Hasn't he been
I
training?
don't know where he's training. Good luck with that.
All right.
You hope he's training. You presume he's training.
All right. Yeah, I guess those things are always consideration too. It's just to me.
I mean, they have to train on their own until they get their visa. So that's that's what normally happens. They train on their own, and that's that.
You got to get into. You got to get them into the game.
Well, Aiden O'Neill got 2 practices.
Pardon?
Before he started, Aiden O'Neill, when he got his visa, he got 2 practices in before he got a chance to play with New York City FC.
Yeah, but
it doesn't look promising right now to be. I mean, because he would have had to have practiced today, and if he doesn't have his visa, he can't, or at least not with a team and not in the country. So, so I don't. Right now, it doesn't look like it, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? We have been surprised before, Glenn.
If the paperwork comes through, I will almost guarantee we'll see him on the pitch. Okay, can I put that out there?
Yeah, good luck.
Because every point matters right now. Now, you would not put him out there to risk injury. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can damn well understand he's got a workout program that he's catering to, and whatever it is, I'm thinking there's a good chance he'll be used. But we don't, he's got to have the paperwork. So there you go. So let's leave that alone. I thought this Matt Freese glove story was pretty cool. So if Matt Freese doesn't get into the National Soccer Hall of Fame, his gloves will be there. In fact, they're already there. So the U.S. men's national team, this is from the Costa Rica match with the 3 saves, and his gloves with his signature and his number 49 are now have been sent. I don't know where they're being displayed, but they're in Frisco, Texas. Ironically, where's New York City going to be? Frisco, Texas. So
all he's got to do is climb up the stands behind the goal on the right from the television perspective, and he can go into the Soccer Hall of Fame and check it out, and he'll find them there. That's where the gloves.
Maybe he's hand delivering them. Maybe he's hand delivering them instead of having sent them, knowing that they were going down there. And
no, you can.
That would be
good.
Cool.
They'd be in good hands, that's for sure.
Now, Matt Turner is considered certainly primary competition to Matt Freese for the U.S. men's national team position in the World Cup next year. We figure Zach Steffen is the other. Maybe Patrick Schulte gets back into the mix, but that's probably it. I don't know what else Mauricio Pochettino's got up his sleeve, but this is not good news for Matt Turner. It's a tweet that was put out by L'Equipe today and was translated by our producer Shane, who speaks French. And it's Lyon, who originally, we saw these reports about Freese going to Lyon and having an opportunity maybe to play more regularly. because he's not getting any minutes. But it seems that they're trying to budget things at Lyon, and that the €8 million asking price is not going to be met. So the point of this story is that it's up in the air as to what's going on with Matt Turner. And if he doesn't play any games, he definitely won't be a candidate. I mean, if he's playing only in cup matches and not in their regular games, there's not a chance, right?
Yeah, well, Lyon is in a pickle right now, Glenn, and that is the fact that they were sent down to second division for financial improprieties, and then they were brought up, and then were sent down, and then they were brought up again. And so I think that part of it has to do with how much money they can spend and they can spend on transfers, and so they probably have to cancel that transfer. Also, I believe their position. Is it theirs? I think might be up in. So it's just a mess right now what Lyon is going through with that.
And that's one of their owners is Michelle Kang now, which is interesting because she's the one that owns the Washington Spirit in the NWSL. She's been a major player through generous donations to the NWSL to help promote that league and the women's game. And so she's also part of that ownership group now. They're trying to figure that out. I wanted to just briefly mention Nashville, who New York City will play. We went through that list. They'll host them on August the 17th at Yankee Stadium. Nashville has already set a single season record for wins with 14, and they have 13 matches to play. Unbeaten in 17 of their last 18 in all comps. And they play in San Diego on Friday night. That'll be after the New York City game against Dallas. So it's one to watch for sure. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up is that these are two of the outstanding young coaches in our league right now. B.J. Callahan with Nashville and Mikey Varis for San Diego. And they both have international coaching experience with the U.S. men's national team together at times under Greg Berhalter. Mikey Varis was the interim head coach of the U.S. men for a couple of friendlies in there.
So was Berhalter. I mean, rather not Berhalter. So was B.J. Callahan.
And B.J. Callahan was as well. So you had two guys that have been interim head at that level, but they were integral parts of that staff. And they're just so solid. And, I'm happy for both of them, especially B.J., who's a friend. But it's great. And, this is where you're not as much seeing the recycled coaches coming back, into these positions. You're seeing guys like them get an opportunity, and it's paid off.
It's paid off very well because not only are they playing well and winning, they've been entertaining as well. I mean, between in Nashville, between Hani Mukhtar and Sam Surridge, I mean, what else can you get? I mean, those guys have been fun to watch, no doubt. I mean, the fact that New York City was able to come back against them and steal a point in Nashville is a huge deal because they played poorly in that first half, but they came out and they played much better in the second half after what we believe the riot act was sort of read to them. And they came out strong in that second half and were able to, at the end of the game, get the tie in a place that isn't easy to get points and against a team that isn't easy to get points against.
Well, BJ and his staff are still convinced that ball went over the line. What was it, the Mukhtar? I forget who took the shot, and Freese made the incredibly acrobatic save. But did he? It was like. But there was never a good enough angle. Although there are claims from the inside that they've seen something which indicated it would go over the line. But I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
You have to look at it on video unless there's a picture of the ball actually on the ground and you can see the entirety of the white line from above and not from an angle. Because you see it from an angle, it doesn't, because if the side of the ball is hovering over the line, even though the ball is firmly just on green, it's not over the line.
Well, and that ball was in the air with the claim over the line because the air counts too. You draw the line straight up.
Yeah.
And, it's over the line.
Without goal line technology, It's hard to exactly determine, but they applied the rule correctly. The referee said no goal at the beginning, and then you got to find clear evidence that he was wrong.
Yep.
And if you can't, then you got to let the call stand. That part of it's very simple. Sometimes they take way too long trying to find evidence, and you're like, dude, it's supposed to be clear. If you're looking that hard, it's not clear.
One real quick thing before you get to kicking it around, and you shared this on the group text. This just came in. Tom Bogert confirming Paul Tenorio, who said that LAFC are in talks with Son Heung-min from Tottenham. So that
No, and I sent that.
Huh?
Yeah, no, I don't want him to leave Spurs. As much as I'd love him for MLS, I don't want him leaving Spurs.
Early talks, club pushing for this summer. Wow, that's pretty wild, man.
I mean, the amount of money that they would have to give Daniel Levy for Son. I mean, I know LA's got money, but Son is still a top level player in the English Premier League. What are you doing with Dennis Bouanga if you have Song on that team? Seriously, they both play the same position.
Yeah, you play them together. That'll be figured out. Don't you worry. Mark Dos Santos, who's the tactician at LAFC, will figure it out. Ariel, I want to give him credit. He's the one that actually sent it through our group chat. So.
Oh, he sent it? I thought. I sent somebody else in. I mean, I thought it was to.
All right, here we go.
I thought it was.
That's okay. It's not a credit. It's not for credit. It's for information.
It's okay. It's all good. I'm
just
apologizing.
I think this is an interesting story to share, Roberto. So we're going to talk about the women's game, okay?
All right.
There's a 14-year-old named Loredana Paletta who is playing on the U15 MLS Next Boys Academy team with New York City FC. And she's also a U16, as you can see, national team pool player. And this hasn't happened very often. The one who really broke the ground was Alyssa Thompson, and people may or may not have heard of her before, but she plays for Angel City in NWSL and is now a very important part of the U.S. women's national team under Emma Hayes. She's really done well in the absence of some of that triple-edged sword, those young ladies up top that are so good but they've suffered through some injuries, especially Trinity Rodman. But Alyssa and her sister Giselle Thompson is also on the U.S. women. Both played for Total Football Academy (TFA) in MLS Next. But pretty interesting. I love hearing stories like that because if she deserves it, it's great for her, man. Because I'll tell you what, it happened in Holland years ago, and you wonder why the Dutch women did so well in the mid 2000s and beyond, even up to this point, is that they trained with men and against men.
Yeah.
And there's something to that because it's faster, it's stronger, and those are the facts.
Which is what happens in basketball all the time. It happens in college basketball all the time. And there's this viral clip of Caitlin Clark going absolutely nuts, hitting 3-pointers against the men's team that they're playing against, and in practice, which is pretty fun.
Will she ever hit another 3-pointer though? She's like 2 for 35 this year or something. She's having a tough time.
She's also dealing with a lot of injuries right now. Hopefully she gets healthy and she does well. But it's good that you show that, and because you get so many comments against the women saying, "Oh, they always get beat by a U15 boys team, beat the U.S. national team or the Canadian national or whatever national team."
Right.
Yeah, we always hear that. So now you have somebody who's good enough to play, a woman who's good enough to play with the boys, right, at their same age, at U15, U16. That's pretty good. Love to hear it.
Well, I am endeavoring to, because I'm not sure who her coach is within the academy in the last 48 hours, trying to dig that up and go through the proper channels. And if they're willing and he can, then I'm going to bring him on to just talk about this because it's it's not it's unique. It's very unique. Mac Witham, who plays for Gotham FC, she also played against boys at MLS Next. I wanted to mention her too because a lot of people that are watching know her from Gotham. Nick Cushing set to take over that new Denver franchise in the NWSL, the Denver Summit. So they
nailed it.
They had a logo.
Nailed the name.
They did. I know.
Yeah.
They Shane, do you have that logo in the tweet or post or X or whatever, wherever it came through? No. All right. Just the video. All right, you can play the video. Here's the date. I thought I sent you a picture, but they put out a promotional video. So here it is, Roberto.
All right.
Denver, a city built for the climb. Reaching the summit doesn't come easy.
She is feeling good.
With the shot and an easy goal.
Here, the climb is the culture. The air may be thin, but our vision isn't. Because these mountains aren't a destination. They're home.
Cool.
All right.
Now, this is, you said
It's
Denver
better than
Summit.
a photo, by the way, Glenn. Good job.
Denver Summit. You said they nailed it. I agree with you when I saw it. I said, wow, that's perfect. Now listen to this. It turns out that an ultimate Frisbee franchise and an LGBTQ plus flag football club use the same name. So it wasn't in Denver. So it wasn't a smooth process. I'm sure what happened is they wrote a check to both those organizations and everything is cool and calm and collected. But that's pretty funny because they did it. It was a fan. They've sold 14,000 season tickets, right? How cool is that? And
They're going to outdraw the Rapids.
they could well outdraw the Rapids. They did a fan vote, and and there were other names. I forget what some of the other names were, but they were lame compared to Summit. You're right. Denver Summit is like perfect.
Thank goodness they didn't call it Denver City FC.
And August 1st is a date you'll want to, open up your account and you'll see some news there regarding that club. Women's Euros. Germany 0, Spain 1. I don't know if you saw the game today, Roberto.
I did not.
But, and this, I just want to present this because I just had this guy on. Phil Wedden is the Philadelphia Union keeper coach, somebody I've known a long time. I have him on once a year on this Sirius XM FC show I do. And we talked about near post goals. And I don't know if you feel the same way I do, but I feel like nowadays keepers are cheating, anticipating crosses and pullbacks and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving up more opportunities, clear opportunities, and getting beat at the front post more often. And Phil Wedden didn't disagree with me, but he said at Philadelphia and through any of the academies or anything that he works with, because he's got a lot of other ventures, he uses this quote and phrase with his keepers. And I thought it was brilliant. Deal with what is, not what could be. And that's exactly what Anne Katrina Berger did. She's the Gotham FC keeper. She's the Germany keeper. Bonmati was at a really sharp angle, all right, for Spain. And Berger thought she's definitely crossing that ball. So she's off her line. She gets beat at the near post, which is a card. It's less a cardinal sin, obviously, these days than it used to be. But I think it's still regarded as something you don't do.
That's awful. I agree with you. I mean, the way I've learned this sport is like you never give up a goal in your near post. You just never give one up.
Now, England beat Italy 2-1, Roberto, the day before. And Chloe Kelly drew the penalty and then scored the penalty. Now, it's and then after she scored, she did the old Ronaldo thing. Now, it's the penalty was in dispute. And if you go back and watch it, again, I don't know if you saw it, but you need to go back and watch it.
I did.
Because
I can talk about this with you.
It was soft. Okay, good. It was soft. And at that moment of the game, to me, it wasn't a foul. Okay, it's not a foul. So foul
We're
call.
going to have fun.
Foul called, but what I'm bringing up here, this is what's interesting. So Chloe Kelly hits a poor penalty, and it's saved, but the keeper spills it right in front. Pet peeve of mine. Talked about that with Phil Wedden as well. And Chloe Kelly follows up and scores, and there it is. They win 2-1. Our boy Pierluigi Collina, the chairman of the FIFA Referees Committee, is introducing 3 things for IFAB to review and potentially approve of. IFAB is the governing body of rules and all that. Eliminating rebounds from penalties. So my point on this is that if this rule were in effect, the Chloe Kelly goal wouldn't have mattered. I mean,
right, it's like in a penalty shootout. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it would be like that.
That's what they want to do.
Now, I put this up on social media this morning, and I got a variety of responses. So let's look through some of these, Roberto. A rule in favor of the goalkeeper has hell frozen over from Thomas. Penalties are already an egregiously generous award. So Will Morrison is in favor of the new rule, but our boy Merlin, we don't favor such a rule. Live ball, deal with it.
Yeah, nobody's ever going to be in agreement. Like you and I are not on the penalty. So here's my thought. Do we want consistency in the game? And as far as refereeing is concerned, and we have this major issue in the NBA all the time. And I want consistency. And if it's a foul in the first minute, it's a foul in the 180.
Yeah, we went over this with Musu. I'm not object. I know exactly where you're going. I'm going with it wasn't a foul, period.
And I think so. Now I want to give you the other part. My perspective on it.
Because I don't want you to go on that because I don't think it was a foul. That's my take. Okay.
Right. Okay. And my take is that there are areas. It's not black and white. There are areas of gray. And I had a long discussion with somebody on Twitter on this. Actually, he came out cursing at me, and then by the end of it, he was agreeing. Not that I expect you to be, but I'm gonna.
I'll listen. I listen.
I will try. So here's my perspective on this. Okay, you don't give the referee an opportunity to call something like that.
You knocked off your Roberto. Perfect timing. You knocked off your microphone, so we're not gonna be able to hear your perspective.
No,
fantastic.
Shane, can you hear me? Hold on. Shane, can you hear me?
Shane, I should close the show.
No, it's you. It's you, Glenn.
What?
It's you.
That was me?
They can hear me. It's
Shane, can we hear him?
Shane hears me.
I don't know what I did. You go ahead and talk. I'll try to figure out what I did.
Yeah, because you screwed it up. Guys who are listening on comments, let us know if they're there. Yeah, he hears me. Okay. Thank you, KP. So you're the only one who doesn't hear me.
I still can't hear you. So you're going to have to close the show.
Well,
can you hear
I might
me?
have to go. Get off.
Can you hear me?
And I'll try to filibuster while you fix this. I'll try to filibuster this. But anyway, and I'll repeat it when he comes on. But my point on this is that if you give a referee an opportunity to make a call like that, then that's on you as a defender. Okay? The defender literally puts her arms all the way around the player at one point. Now, if the player there tries to fall or whatever and does hit the ground, then what you're doing is that you're giving the referee a chance to make that call. And it's within her jurisdiction to make that call because that is grabbing somebody in the penalty area, preventing an opportunity for that person to score a goal. So what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to explain here and what I've explained online is that it's not just black and white. It is a penalty. It isn't a penalty. There are different levels of gray. And I may call that a penalty. Glenn has already said that it's a soft penalty. He probably doesn't call it if he's a referee. If I'm a referee, I call it because to me, once you hug somebody and she hugged them, she hugged the rival player like it was a long lost relative that came back from war and they thought they were dead and they walked through the door. Right? You know, you give somebody a bear hug like that, you're giving the referee an opportunity to make a call, especially when somebody goes to ground. So I have no problem with that, and I don't care if it's in the 118th minute. Are you back? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I did the old reboot.
Well, very good, Glenn. Thanks for
Thanks.
blaming me. Okay, so what I've explained to everybody, and I'll do it briefly again with you, okay, is this. Okay, when you give a referee an opportunity to make a call, even if it's in the 118th minute, then you're putting yourself in a position to hurt your team. She bear hugs the offensive player. And then as they're letting go or whatever, they're struggling and the player goes to ground. You're giving the referee an opportunity to make a call there, and it's definitely within the jurisdiction of the referee to absolutely make that call. And it's levels of gray. It's not black and white. You might let that, as you've explained, you would let that play stand and you wouldn't have made a call for the fact that you think it was light or it was in the 118th minute. And to you, that's important. To me, it wasn't. I make that call because when you give somebody a bear hug on a set piece in the penalty box, like if she was a long lost relative that came back from war when you expected her to be dead, right? And you're hugging her like that, then you're giving her a chance to call a penalty. So I have no problems with that penalty being called.
All right.
That's it? That's your retort?
Yep.
Wow.
If the word soft could be multiplied by an infinity number and then capitalized and sent off into space to.
So why is it
larger?
soft for you if the defensive player is literally has two hands around and is hugging the offensive player so she cannot move off the spot that she's on? Why is that okay for you?
Well, we saw it differently. That's not a hug.
But it's very clear, Glenn, that she puts both arms around her and hugs her and stops her movement in the moment that the penalty or that the set piece is being taken. So tell me why you think that that's okay.
It wasn't a foul. I didn't see it that way. It wasn't wrapped up. It was an off-balance situation, which was triggered by the attacking player, and that's what happened.
She literally had both arms around her.
The attacking player was just as responsible for the tumble as the defender.
She has both arms around her. You're fine with that.
Okay.
Did you teach
How many
that?
times? How many times
Did you
does
teach that? Did you teach that on how to defend set pieces? That you put two arms around the forward?
No, I didn't instruct that because referees generally, if you put a fingernail on somebody, they will call a foul. At least the level I know.
So why do you think that this is soft if you know that that's going to happen?
Hold on, I'm trying to get into Don Garber's press conference.
That's very nice of you. End the show then. So I want to watch it too.
No, get a second computer out. Hold on, let me see if he's. I don't think he's speaking.
Hey, I have another podcast that I've got to do in Spanish on the NFL. We're going to be doing the AFC East in Spanish on Punto Extra. You can see it up on Twitter, X, and all the normal places on Especialistas del Deporte. So I got to get ready for that too.
All right. Well, we'll close and just tell everybody we're on an hour later than normal because we're in the Midwest or in the Southwest or we're in another time zone. So anyway, we're
they are
8:15 p.m. Eastern, and Maddie and I will be on 7:45 p.m. Eastern with our NYCFC 7:30 p.m. Eastern with NYCFC pregame live. All right. Good chat, Roberto, and we'll see you soon.
All right, that was fun. I love debating with you, Glenn. Let's not get upset. We're all good.
You yelled at you made accusations at the beginning of the broadcast.
I was accurate.
Oh boy. All right. See you later. Bye everybody. Thanks, Shane.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast NYCFC Views on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.